In this mission we have codename Career Quest.
In our last episode, the Career Quest team was captured by Vexor, so the High Council sent out a new team. Team 2 went on their first mission, and then they had a transmission from their team leader intercepted by Vexor. Vexor told Team 2 that he has Team 1 trapped, and they may be dying. He wants Team 2 to go back to their own time and to tell the High Council to destroy their time machine. We now join Team 2 in the middle of their second mission.
Right here is the keyboard area. This is where we sell our synthesizers. These days, we're really lucky because the way computers and things like that work, and they're all miniaturized, we can get a really good sounding keyboard for not too expensive. This particular keyboard here has got lots of really nice sounds on it. Everything from piano to brass. We also got different the nice thing about the synthesizers these days is they sound very realistic. It sounds like real instruments. It's what they call it sampled sounds. You actually, there's a little digital recording of the sound in there. When you play it, it's like pressing the play button on a cassette deck.
Do you have the kind that can make your voice sound like a synthesizer?
We do have stuff like that. Unfortunately, we don't have it set up. But we have there's pretty much no limitation to what you can do these days with these synthesizers.
How long does it take to set up all this equipment?
It actually doesn't take very long, depending on how complicated your setup. Like, if you're just playing a couple keyboards, you just plug them in and you plug them into an amplifier. But if you want to set them up as part of a recording system with a computer, then it takes a little while. You got to take a cable from the back of the computer. There's a thing called MIDI, which stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface, which is a fancy name of saying that these keyboards can communicate with each other over a line, just like a phone line.
What is it?
This is a big mixing board. This is where I have all our keyboards mixed up to. Like here we have, you can just like affect the mix on it. This is kind of what I use as an engineer to mix the different levels so that everything sounds right when the recording is done.
Yeah, EMGs are usually what they end up slapping out the inserts on the subgroups as well as the mains themselves.
Just be careful, that's all. That's all.
How do you get this off? Because I don't want to break it.
Baby.
You just pick it up. There you go.
Oh, just pick it up. Dang, how are you supposed to?
This is our electric guitar area. This is where we keep all our different electric guitars. They range in price from about like $100 to several $1,000s, depending on how nice they are. What you guys all got there is a bunch of really nice Stratocasters.
Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy. What advice would you give somebody who wants to be a musician?
Basically, like I say, what you need to do is you need to really decide that you're going to work at it, because it's not all fun and games. I mean, playing music is fun, but learning how to play music is a lot of work. It's like anything else, there's homework involved, and you have to study, and it takes work to get better. Sometimes you get a little frustrated, but I would say just learn how to play, work really hard, and stay focused. And if you're lucky, and if you play your cards right, you can end up becoming a professional musician.
Do you have any banjos?
What?
Do you have banjos?
As a matter of fact, I do. Back in the acoustic room. Now, you want to take a quick strum on this?
Drumming on the street light. Can I play?
Sure.
I'm after keys. I'm after keys. Stop hogging.
See, he plays better than me.
And the group kiss her.
Something like that, yeah. If you really want to like be fancy and loud and stuff and wear spandex, that's your guitar right there.
Have you ever thought about going back? Have you ever thought about being a rapper or something?
Actually, I work with a lot of rappers in the area around here. I'm not very good at it myself, although I'm learning slowly. I'm pretty good at making the music for it, doing the backtracks, doing the jams. But I'm a little scared to start rapping right now. I figure I'll leave that to the guys who are good at it. Before we were looking at electric guitars, this is our acoustic room. The nice thing about acoustic guitars is you don't have to have an amplifier to plug them in. You can take them anywhere you want to go. There's lots of different types, like there's guitars and banjos and mandolins. Let's see if this is in tune.
Do you have a string for this?
I think it's missing. Basically, most of the sound in an electric guitar comes from the pickups and the amplifiers. The electronic pickups, they have a certain tone to them and a feel, and you get like things like sustain coming from the strings vibrating from their own sound. And the amplifier also gives you something called distortion, so you can get those buzzy type of like very thick tones that I was playing on the electric guitar. Whereas the acoustic guitar, there's nothing like that. And you get more of like a thin, more like actual sound that's being created by the box. It acts like a big resonating chamber. The strings are connected to the body right here, and it resonates the top head, and the top head moves the air around, and that comes out the sound hole. This is a banjo, and the way this works, it's similar to an acoustic guitar, but the bridge resonates a drum head. And these were created back in the old days, back in the South, when they didn't have all the materials and they couldn't afford fancy guitars. They take like an old tambourine or an old drum, and they just string a couple of strings over it, and that's why it has more of like a papery type of a sound to it. Instead of having a full wooden sound, it has kind of like a little thinner sound. But that's the characteristic of it, and that's why it has that very angular attack sound. This you play with the bow. Obviously we don't have the bow out because those things are easy to destroy. But this one is actually made by Fender. It's an electronic violin. As you can see, it doesn't have any, usually has little left holes here to let the sound out, just like the acoustic guitar has the holes to let the sound out. But since this is electronic, there's a little electronic pickup built in here, and you plug it into an amplifier just like one of the electric guitars. This is so that if you're on stage, sometimes you need to be heard, and the acoustic guitars sometimes are hard to hear. So what they do is they have things called acoustic electrics. It's kind of like a combination of the two. This starts off life as an acoustic, and then they put a pickup in it. We also have acoustic electric guitar. As you can see, it's an acoustic guitar. It's got the sound hole and the strings here. But there's a place to plug it in right here into a large PA system. And there's even a little control here so you can change the treble and the bass. So you get the best of both worlds. If you're just sitting around, you can play it. But if you're playing on stage with a bunch of people, you can plug it in and be loud.
How much? Can I see this?
This one? This particular one is, it's used, so it's cheap. It's only $4.95 with the case.
With the case.
Yeah, with the case, yeah.
Can I see this?
Yeah, you sure can. What she's got and what I've got right here are classical guitars. They have nylon strings on them. Back in the old days, they had what are called gut strings, which, believe it or not, are actually made from the guts of animals. They used to call them cat gut. They made like from old cat guts. They would like pull this flesh and they would make these strings out of them. And because they were made from that type of material, they had a warmer tone to them. These days we don't like cutting cats up, so we make nylon strings thanks to technology. It's basically it's designed for playing classical music and Spanish music, like flamenco. It has a different sound than the steel string acoustic guitars in that it sounds a little warmer. The notes don't sound quite as brittle.
How about how you can get in a rap career?
Getting into a rap career is just as easy as getting some music together and writing a rap. You write your raps and you get them down. I'm sure you and your buddies probably kind of fool around with a little bit of rapping anyway. It's just a matter of writing them down, getting them memorized, and then getting someone to record some cool music for you in the background. You're drafted. This is the area where we have all the bass guitars and bass amps. And here's my friend. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Mark.
This is a bass guitar. The difference between this and the other electric guitars is that the strings are thicker and they have a lower sound to them. This is really important when you're playing with other musicians to give the music a little bit of bass, a little bit of bottom, so that the whole thing sounds a little bit more solid.
So, like, if you notice when he was over there playing the guitars, you notice how it had a real high tone. Well, this is completely different. This brings out those nice low notes. And like when you're listening to songs on the radio, like a lot of times, if you're not really looking for it, it's like you won't even notice that it's there, but you'll hear it.
Or it's kind of like the translator between the drums and the guitar. It's musical like the guitar, but it's very rhythmic like the drums. In fact, a lot of people consider the bass like the glue that holds the whole rhythm section together.
Us bass players get the solo too,
I
though.
have a question. How long were you playing like these drums and everything?
How long have I been playing?
Yeah.
I've been playing bass for about 5 or 6 years. So it takes a long time. It's like
Did you take lessons?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? He took lessons. It only took him about 5 years to learn how to play. I didn't take lessons. It took me about 8-9 years to play. So it gives you an idea of how important lessons can be.
Actually, you can actually go to college
I was telling him before.
and devote, your whole life to learning how to play music. So
Have you ever thought about being a professional bass player?
Well, the definition of professional is getting paid for what you do, and if that's the definition, we're both professionals.
Yeah.
Because we both play shows and get paid. The question is how much are you getting paid? And are you enough to be able to just do music, or enough where you have to also have another job on the side? It takes a lot of work to become a full-time professional musician, and it also takes a little bit of luck. So
Do you guys have anything to do with concerts?
sometimes we do. I mean, sometimes we get involved in different areas. I've worked both as an engineer and a musician at concerts.
For a show like Pine Knob, if you're opening up for a national act, you'll get paid a couple $1,000s. If you're playing, I don't know if you know where Metropolis is at. But
In downtown Flint,
downtown Flint,
right on Saginaw Street.
you're lucky to come out of there, with gas money. So,
Like I said, you don't play music primarily for the money. You play music because you love playing music.
Right.
If you're lucky, you'll make some money.
yeah, but practice is a lot of it. Just sitting at home, running through scales.
Yeah, the popping and the slapping stuff is the fun part. He's got to do that all the time.
You got to do this
keep
all
good.
the time, or a lot of times in a band, like the fun stuff is going. But a lot of times in a band, you can't do that. A lot of times when you're playing with other musicians, the bass player's job is just to sit here and go. And do that.
Yeah, when was the last time I heard you play just that?
But and that's part of it, is knowing what to play, when to play, how to play it, what fits. It's not all showing off.
Yeah, I guess I think Mark will back me up on this. Music is a beautiful thing that you can do. It's a lot of fun, and it make you happy, make other people happy. You don't have to think of it just as a career. You can think of it as something you just want to do just for yourself. And if you're going to work at it, you got to work really hard at it, and you got to be able to expect that sometimes you're going to have some hard times. But in the long run, it's obviously me and him have stuck with it for many years now because we love doing it. So.
can we find that CD and when can we stop?
Never, because we need that CD to go on another mission.
Yeah, you know the council doesn't trust broadcasting anymore ever since Vexer intercepted Zoe's transmission.
Stop arguing and keep looking for that disc.
Hey, I think I found something. Never mind, it's a tape, not a CD.
I found something and I know it's the CD.
Salty.
Maybe if we start listing some heavy things, we might find a CD.
People, there is no CD. If there was, we would have found it by now. We haven't even looked at half the possible places it could be.
How do you know? According to my calculation, you are not the smartest person in this world.
Aaron! Let's think where the CD could be. I can't think of anything.
Me either.
Nothing.
Nope, nothing, nada.
Let's use a new computer. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's 21st century technology. They never taught us how to use this stuff before they sent us to this godforsaken time.
Please try for us, Aaron.
Okay, I will try to contact Zoe with this computer. I told you it was useless.
We need that CD because the old crystals are still with Vexer and they could be dying.
We need that CD. Has anyone stepped on anything? Because if they have, we are in big trouble.
I may have stepped on something, but I didn't pay any attention to it.
How could you do this to us?
I don't have sensors on my feet, you know.
Stop arguing. Shouldn't we just take the CD to the computer store and get it fixed? It doesn't take a macho man to figure that out.
You three go. I'll stay behind and see if I can find out how to operate this computer.
Morphotron, activate. Set coordinates for Eco's computer store. Energize. You got Martillo with that
Man, listen. Hey. Could you tell me what kind of training you would need to go through to enter this field?
I have a high school education, I have some college education, but like I said, what's most important is being able to listen to what people want and determining what it is that, from them telling you what they want, what you can do for them sales-wise. So listening and having good communication skills is most important.
Could you walk me through an average day at your work?
An average day for me consists of about, I come into work at about 11:30. The first thing I do is I check my telephone messages, make sure no one hasn't left me since I left. I also, if we have any orders that have come in, they'll be sitting on my desk, so I'll have to call customers that I've ordered things for. Another thing that I'll do is I'll go back to the manufacturing department and see if any of the computers that I've ordered for customers is finished. After that, usually about that time, it's lunchtime. I go to lunch around 2 or 3 o'clock and leave for about a half an hour. Or I'll go back to manufacturing and see if any of the computers that I've ordered for customers have come in. But that's pretty much what I do until 8 o'clock, answering phones and just helping customers that come into the store. If things need organized or any new stocks come in that needs to be put out, we can help with that and put that out as well. But
Are there any special kind of tools that you ever need to use on a daily basis?
mostly what we use are computers. If we need a calculator, there's one right in the computer, so that's really about it. We order everything through computers and add things up and determine prices through computers.
Oh my God.
This area right here basically is where all the orders and things that we put in, this is where they come to before they get shipped out. This is where we test all our used parts and make sure everything's working properly on those. This area and the area on the other side of it is where we put all our computers that come in for service and or upgrades while they're waiting to be done, and then this here is where they're put when they're done and they're waiting for the customer to come back and pick them up.
What is this right here?
This is basically, there's a local internet provider in the area called the Internet Ramp. It's their modem pool, basically. When you dial the number to get onto the internet through them, your call comes in here, and then these computers process your call, check your password. This area is where we build all our computers at. These guys right now actually are building computers. This is where they're put while they're being tested. These are all computers that have been built now and just need to...
What kind of tools do you need to use in your job?
Use everything, various types of screwdrivers, Phillips head, flathead, needle nose pliers, soldering irons, picks, chip pullers, lots of different tools we use. Let's see, this was the inside of a computer. You have everything from your video card to your sound card. This is the I/O controller. This is an older model computer. You see it has a 30-pin. This is the memory. Now the memory is a lot different. And this kind of controller goes on board. This is actually a battery that keeps the settings for the motherboard. Various drives in the front, from 5 1/4 to a 3 1/2, and the CD-ROM drive. Basically what I do is if a component goes bad, I pull it out, I replace it, I reconfigure the software to work with the new component.
Are there any weird things that happen on your job? Weird.
There's lots of weird things, especially when we get viruses and things like that. You see a lot of strange things happen with the computers. Viruses come in many different types. There's hundreds and hundreds of viruses. They do everything from just corrupt your data to really odd things like bounce balls across your screen, play little songs, just put up various messages. They can be harmless or extremely harmful.
Show me the money. 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 Show me the money.
How much money do you expect to make?
It really depends. We work on a commission basis, so the more I sell, the more I make. Some people here make upwards of $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, and some don't. It just depends on how good of a salesperson you are. And
entry level is probably around $20,000 a year when you first get into it, but it really is based upon your knowledge level and how much you know about computers. The more that you can actually do with computers, the more money they can pay. Computer field goes from hardware and software configuration, which is basically what I do, to programming, to networking, which we do some of that also. So the more you know, the more money.
Probably $250 a week.
And you work what hours?
Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 6.
This is the software department, down here and over here. Some gaming accessories, game pads, joysticks. These are all the cablings and accessories that we sell for printers and such like that. It's all the same as we've got over here. Our book department, Nicole. Bottom line is we don't want to smoke more accessories, disk storage.
Do they make these things here?
No, we buy them through a company named Fellows. That's about it with those. We buy a lot of our accessories.
You make the computers here?
We build our own computers here. The computers that we sell are right back here. As a matter of fact, we do build them ourselves. We build them to whatever specifications the customer wants. We have a price sheet out available for them, and we do build them here.
Do you have any last words of advice for anyone who would like to work in this field?
I would say don't be scared of it. It's definitely a very broad field. There's a lot of different places you can go in it. A lot of people look at it and see that there's so much information and so many things to learn that they get really scared of the computer field or computers in general. But it's really just a tool, and there's so many things you can do with it that you can just pick one area and centralize on that and learn that area and then move out from there.
If you want your questers, come and get them. Got another one of those messages while you were gone. Did
transfer that information to a new CD?
Yeah. Ooh.
Questions, I'm afraid time is running out for Team 1. The council has decided to destroy the time machine and hope that Vexor will let the first team live. We are sure that Vexor will see that the plans are destroyed. We have some hidden on this disc. Hopefully you'll be able to create your own time machine and stop Vexor before he does whatever his plan is.
That's it?
Yeah.
Well, good. All we have to do is build our own time machine and we've got Vexor beat.
Good except for one thing.
Yeah?
The High Council hid the files in 23rd century technology. We only have 21st century technology, computer. So there's no way I'll be able to read them.
Hello, my name is Xavier Lathan, and I play Vexor on Career Quest. Career Quest is made up of 4th graders from Doyle Ryder Elementary. We would love to hear your comments. Please write to us at Career Quest, Doyle Ryder Elementary, 1020 North Saginaw Street, Flint, Michigan, 48501. Or write our email address at careerq@aol.com. Thanks.
Salty.
No, she didn't. On TV.